Hi everyone, and welcome to our AGM. I just want to make sure that we have got Sandra on here. Sandra, can you hear me okay? Hi everyone, and welcome to our AGM. I just want to make sure that we have got Sandra on here. Sandra, can you hear me okay? Hi everyone. All right, let's try this. Sorry. All right. Okay, let's try that again. So, at the moment, I don't know if we can hear Sandra or not. Suraj, can you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, that's working. All right. I just didn't know if you had the sound working okay on your side, but if you're there, that's great. And you can hear me okay as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, welcome everyone to the AGM. What we're going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to share with you where you can be posting comments as we're going through. This here is the comments chat on the top here. So I'm going to just post here, post any votes and comments here as we go through the AGM. So we do have the Impact Investor call that is coming up, and that's going to be in half an hour. So obviously all of our shareholders are also invited to our investor meet, and on that investor meet, we'll be going through in detail all the information around how Entrepreneur Resorts is tracking at the moment, along with other impact investor updates, information on the Alchemy Fund, information on GeniusU. That's all going to be coming up. So that's where we'll be going through quite a bit of detail on the actual performance of Entrepreneur Resorts and how things have been going. On this AGM, we are going to be really going through 3 items. And those 3 items are going to be the acceptance of the annual financial report, declaration of any dividend, and re-election of director, which is basically a process that happens once each year. So I'm just going to run through each of these one by one. And then as we go through, those of you who are voting will be able to share. What we'll do first of all is just basically get a confirmation on the quorum by actually knowing who is on at the moment. So the way to do this is, first of all, if everyone who's currently live on the call, if you are able to just post here, let me just make sure I've got here, please post here your name to confirm your attendance. So I can see we have 10 people watching at the moment. So everyone who's currently on here, if you could just please post your name so we know you're here. And also, I just want to come over to Sandra, because I know, Sandra, you've also got a number of people that send you their proxy to vote on their behalf. So do you want to just walk through who those people are, and perhaps Suraj can just type their name here as well.
Yeah, welcome to the AGM. So as I'm going through, these people have issued their proxy through to myself, which is Marie Razik and Kimberly Dawn. And we also have some through their apologies with their proxy for and a dedicated vote. So that's for Michael Paris as well. We've got their recordings. We've got a attendee of votes, which is over 60%, so we're well and truly above our quorum. So everything on our legal side or compliance side we can proceed with.
Sandra, did you want to mention, so you mentioned a number of people that have given you the proxy vote because they can't be on the call. Do you also want to just mention any RSVPs you had? Even though, like again, someone might RSVP, but they may not be on the call. And I see Eric Richards is actually posted here that he's here, so hi Eric. But everyone else who's on or listening on the call, if you could just post your name here as well, would know you're here. But in the meantime, maybe Sandra, you can just kind of share who sent you an RSVP.
Okay, so I actually haven't had any RSVPs. People that haven't sent their proxies. So everybody else has confirmed. I have had Dave Rogers, and Siddharth, his brother, and also Les Gordon confirmed they were attending, but apart from that, we haven't had anyone else RSVP.
Okay, all right. And then obviously I'm on here as a shareholder as well. So between all of us plus those as a proxy, and then those, and that's not including the RSVPs, but from those we're at 60% of our shareholders or shareholding on the call at the moment. So, so we're going to go ahead then. Here is, first of all, on our AGM, the very first of the things we're going to be going through, which is the acceptance of the annual financial report. So we have now lodged our first audited accounts. We have got here some screenshots of these audited accounts, which show that there was $2.3 million in profit for the 2017 period. And we have a balance sheet, which shows currently a total of $15.4 million in net assets on the balance sheet, which is actually fairly close to what our market capital is at the moment as well. So this is the information from the first year, and this also shows our cash flow, where we generated $2.3 million in cash from the operations, and we're sitting on a little bit more than that right now within the business. So these are the actual results of what we put through, and we have got that now submitted by Tropex, and so it has already been lodged. What we need to do is make sure that it's also agreed by the shareholders as well. There is, by the way, one extra piece of information here, which is that the group companies are actually going through audit right now as well. So everything I just shared was about the holding company, and the group company, once we add those in as well, then for 2017, we'll be at $4.9 million in revenues against the $4.5 million forecast, and we'll be at $2.9 million in profit against the $400,000 forecast, largely because of the exceptional items that took place because of the purchase of Tau. So with those numbers, and also with just that information, I'm going to just stop sharing my screen for a moment, and I'm going to just go through, there we go, and I'm just going to go through to see if we have any other people that are here. Yes, I can see we have Grant Finder here for also Grant Finder and Julie Cooper, and we also have Dennis Dubois, who is on here as well. So first of the items, which is voting to accept the 2017 accounts. Everyone in favor, can you please just post in here a yes as a vote towards voting for that. So I just typed in a yes on my side. And everyone else, if you could type in a yes, and maybe Sandra, if you can also, or a no, if you actually have an objection. If you can post that also in there as well. So Eric's got a yes as well. We have Grant, who is also a yes. We're waiting for Sandra. Maybe it's just slow here. Sandra, are you posting? We lost Sandra.
Actually, I'm typing in yes, and I've entered it twice. So it might just be a slow internet connection, but voting.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll take it verbally anyway. All right. Okay, we're going to go to the second item. So on the second item, as we will go through on the upcoming Impact Investor Meet, let me go back to my screen again, and here we go. I'm coming back to sharing my screen again. And on the second item, which is on the dividends, this year at the moment, we continue to track profitably. However, we are also very focused at making sure that we have got the funds for the acquisitions that are coming up, which includes the next round for Tau and also the next beach club that we are basically in the process of finding and then buying. And so with that, we're keeping to the same goal and target that we actually had at our IPO, where we advised everyone that we would not be expecting there to be any dividends for the first couple of years of our operations as a listed company, to really give us the opportunity to really make sure that we are able to effectively grow the company. While we do have in reserves over $2 million, it's actually in our subsidiary company. So it's in Tau to actually be able to do the rebuild of Tau, and also in the beach club, for example, to be able to manage the operations there. So we are looking this year at not issuing a dividend. I do know that we had some shareholders who were asking if it was possible at some point to get dividends. And what I would say is that we have seen the share price go up by 45% this year. And those who are looking for a cash return, it would make sense potentially, because we now do have the facilities to be able to actually buy and sell your shares, to just release some of your shares to actually give yourself some cash flow from that, and you still be ahead as a result of the growth in the shares in the company. But from the point of view of the company itself issuing dividend, we are going to keep with what we were saying and make that a zero dividend for the year. We don't have a date of when we actually at the moment are going to be setting a dividend yet, but we'll be watching this very closely with the board to ensure that we actually have got the right timing for us to be able to do that. So on the second item, which is that we are going to be voting for no dividend this year, could you please type either a yes or a no or a question mark if you had a question of some sort that you wanted to post into the chat as well. So that's on the second item. I still don't see any posts from you, Sandra, so I'm thinking you might have a challenge with your chat. I can see Jeremy is here, so hi, Jeremy. And so I'm just going to now ask everyone to just post a vote. I'm typing in my yes, so that's gone in there.
Sorry, I have made a note in the group chat, but also we're getting a few people just saying, just got a few comments coming in. Every time they click on it, just pauses. So just wanted to let you know that they're struggling to type anything in. So I'm just going to get people to put any comments or notes in here or Facebook. Maybe set up a Facebook. Yeah. And
Sandra, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We're posting in the group chat on the actual YouTube video. I see you're posting, but you're posting inside the Hangout chat, which is the wrong chat that I posted into. So instead of posting in this Hangout chat, this is our YouTube chat here. This is the link to it. I'm posting it inside the Google Hangout. But if you posted it there, I'm seeing your yeses. Just post it there instead. And if you have anyone who is coming to you directly saying they can't post it in the YouTube chat, then maybe you can post on their behalf and just kind of like say their name. But I can see here we have got yes to the first from Jeremy, and to the second we have yes from Richard, Eric for the second, and also from Dennis for the second as well. So if you continue and just post on here. But I'm going to take your vote on the proxies for yourself, Sandra, while you're organizing your yeses here. So on the second one, what's your vote?
Yes, and also just had the question around what currency are you reporting in?
These are all in US dollars, all the currencies here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to come to the third item here. So the third item is re-election of the director. So on this third item, what happens each year is, just by the way our constitution works, we need to have one of any of the directors that actually resigns and then has an opportunity to get re-elected back in. So this year, the person who has fallen on his sword is Jeremy Harris, who basically has stepped down for a moment in time as our CFO in order for us to give an opportunity to re-elect him. Just again, for clarity for everybody, the directors that we actually have who are part of our Seychelles board is myself, Sandra, so as CEO, COO, and then Jeremy as CFO. And then we have Dennis Dubois, who is one of our non-executive directors, and we have Lisa Bovio as one of our non-executive directors. So we have a total of 5 directors at the moment who are on the board. So the third item is to re-elect Jeremy as our CFO. He's been doing a super awesome job at actually getting all our numbers together and moving things through on compliance. So if you are going to vote yes for that, you can post a yes in here now. And if you have any questions, you can, or no, you can post that in here as well. So I'm just posting my yes in there. And I'll just wait for a number of other votes to show up here as well. And this is really the third item that we have on the agenda. Jeremy's abstaining. How can you abstain, Jeremy? We have Dennis as a yes and Grant as a yes as well. And Sandra, because we're still not seeing any yeses from you, do you want to just say on your side what your vote is?
Yeah, my internet's a bit slow. It's swearing for that one. Yes, it's for me, for Jeremy.
Okay, great. All right, and we have pretty much everyone else as a yes as well. So thank you, everyone. As you can see, we have 13 watching, but I know some people might be tuned in separately. I know Danny and Suraj are also tuned in. This is actually the number of people we have on the call at the moment. But we have covered all three elements of the AGM. So I'm now going to just open this up to any immediate questions or comments that anyone might have. If you do have them, you can post them also into the chat there. If not, then we're going to close the meeting in a moment, and then in about 10 minutes' time, we're going to be starting up the next session, which is going to be our Impact Investor Circle. Sandra, is the Impact Investor Circle on, this might be a question more for Suraj, is it going to be on the same link that we're going to be kicking it off again?
Not sure. I haven't set that one up. I'll have to check with Sandra.
No, it's on the same one. Yep, same one.
On the same one?
Yeah.
Then, okay, so I'll just leave this open then.
Keep it easy.
So would that mean that this AGM recording will be a separate recording, and then we'll kick it off with another one, or are we just going to keep this one open?
We're actually going to keep it open because...
yeah, if you keep it open, it's going to be on the same recording.
Okay. Was that your intention, Sandra? Just that we have it all in one recording?
Yep.
Okay, all right. Okay, no problem. Okay, so let me come over to the comments then. On the comments, we have Jeremy, for your information, initially it said I had to set up a channel to be able to chat. So I logged into a different Google account where I had a channel set up. Maybe others have the same issue. And then it's saying he has the same issue as well. That's interesting. Is that something you've heard of before, Suraj?
If you have a user account, you should be able to. But every user has a channel.
So if you're not a user of YouTube and you don't have that, is that something which is going to stop people from being able to comment on here?
Yeah, but you can be a user of YouTube by signing into your any of your Google accounts.
Okay, all right. Then we'll just need to tell people that at the beginning of the next call. Okay. All right. So so thanks for that. And so we have a vote on all three. So Jeremy, you are obviously continuing as our CFO. We are going to submit the minutes from this AGM. So we have that all completed as well. And I have a question here from Grant. Hi, Roger, can you provide a quick update on the Thailand Beach Club, please? We'll go into more detail on the progress of everything on the main Impact Investor Call. But I will say at this moment, Grant, the Thailand Beach Club and the deal we had did not go through. It just was taking far too long, and we ended up kind of like pulling the plug on it and saying, okay, we want to like go for a different strategy, which we're now putting in place to go directly to things that are already on the market, because this was the first time we were trying to go and do a deal on something that wasn't yet on the market, and it just proved to be too difficult to do. So that's kind of been a slight kind of like learning from our side. And we will be now looking for a new venue where we're not actually tied to just Thailand. It might be Thailand. Phuket's really tough to find a place, so it may be Koh Samui, or it could actually be in a different part of the Asia Pacific, because we're kind of going to open up the search right now for that as well. Okay, guys, well, that is the end of our AGM. So we have got 10 minutes before the Impact Investor Call starts. What we'll do is, I guess we'll keep this running. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now, and then we'll kind of like start again in 10 minutes time. So if anyone's listening to this recording, you can kind of fast forward for 10 minutes. And then on the hour, we're going to kick it off with our Impact Investor Call. Thank you everyone very much for coming on to the AGM. Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you. And I'll just pause things until people start again. All right, thanks.
Okay. All right, I will stop sharing my screen. Okay, well, that was
Yeah.
hello. Okay, and we are live and rolling with our Impact Investor Meet. So welcome everyone to our call. We have got a number of people here with us. We have Sandra. Hello, Sandra.
Hey everyone, welcome.
All right, awesome. Okay, I think
can you hear me?
Slight Wi-Fi challenges there, but we can see and hear you. You're a little grainy. You're looking like you're coming from outer space. All right, but it's working. Okay. We also have Danny who's joined us as well. You're going to hear from Danny a little bit later. Hello, Danny.
Hello.
And Danny is getting involved and really supporting all of our impact investors. So we've got some exciting news on this call. We also have got Suraj, who we're going to be coming to a little later on GeniusU as well. And we're going to jump right in with a bit of an overview on both what's been happening in Entrepreneur Resorts, what's been happening with GeniusU, plus what has been happening on the Acme Fund, and we have some exciting news about the very first investment of the Acme Fund that we're going to be telling you about in the latter part of this call as well. So if everyone was to go to the Impact Investor Circle, which is on the Facebook group, we will be moving everything over, as we had with most of the groups, into GeniusU. But at this point, you can be actually posting any comments, questions onto the Impact Investors Facebook group as well. So let me share with you what we are all looking at right now. If you go onto the Facebook group here, you will see, here it is, right? So it's under Impact Investor Circle, and you will see that on here, Danny has actually posted on here. Hi everyone, here's a chat feed for today. Hi, please post here if you're on the call and which country you're here from, you're in at the moment. All right, so it'd be great to just see who's on here at the moment on the call as well. We have had a very eventful 3 months right now from that last call, where a lot has happened, and we're going to be sharing what has been happening and how it's been happening as we go through the call as well. And so hope there will be some really great value that you get from this, not only just in terms of getting an update from us, but also just in terms of what we're seeing happening out in the marketplace right now as well. We've run the Blockchain Accelerator with WeWork, which is our very first time going out to some of the fast growth companies and going directly to them. We have been out speaking to many investors on the GeniusU side. We've had new investments. Both Entrepreneur Resorts and GeniusU have gone up in share value as a result of people coming on board as well. And I'm going to jump right into our updates here, starting with Entrepreneur Resorts. And here is an overview, and these slides, we'll make these slides available to you as well, but here's an overview of what's been happening on the Entrepreneur Resort side. Our share price has gone up again as $1.45 at this point, so that's 45% above our IPO price. We have lodged our first audited accounts. Total for the year, as in 2017, went above our forecast target. So our actual group for 2014 in terms of group revenues was $4.9 million against a $4.5 million revenue target. If you remember, this is quite familiar. This was what we showed at the time we went for the IPO, which is coming up to just 1 year ago. And we were thinking that at the end of 2018, we'd be at about 1.15 million in share price. As you heard, we're at 1.45 at the moment. And we also have our revenues where we were thinking 4.5, so this became more like 4.9. And our profitability at that point, we thought would be 400,000. It actually ended up at over 2 million. And that was largely because of what happened with Tao and some of the restructuring and the writing off debts that took place there as well. And at the moment, we are on track for our numbers this year as well. We're at 4.4 million group revenue. We haven't quite hit all our numbers, and so we're kind of like looking at what we can do to catch up on some numbers. So for example, with Tao, we actually thought we would be doing our build of our new building at this point. And so we didn't actually take on bookings until about February time, when we realized we weren't going to do the build until next year. We now have got some designs we're going to show you, which are coming up for the Tao redesign. And we ran our first iLab that we've ever run there just this last week, so last couple of weeks. So that's been like really exciting. We have a whole bunch of new baby lion cubs that have just all been bought out there as well, which is super exciting. Our net profit for this year already is sitting at over $4 million, which is way higher than our $1.2 million target. And that again is as a result of what's been happening with Tao. And there's more news coming that way, which we'll be kind of like sharing in upcoming quarters as well. So transition that has all been going. The one hiccup in all of this has been the Thailand Beach Club. We were really pushing hard to actually get the deal done there, but the development we were working with had about 5 different shareholders that had to approve everything, and we just never got to approvals and things. And so we've decided to kind of abandon that approach and go down a more standard approach, which we actually went through for both Tao, also for Mercure, and, which is our Bali Beach Club, which has been all about basically going for what's already out there in the market, right? So we're going to do more of that as we go. And so that's really going to be about us going out right now and saying, okay, let's actually go look for our second beach club. It might be a great spot. So it might be, you know, in Australia, it might be in Malaysia or in Philippines, it might be in Thailand. But we're opening up, we're spreading the net, and we definitely are up for buying another beach club this year. So if you happen to have any connections with companies out there that are either sourcing locations or you know of people, let us know, because we're in full active mode to get that done right now as well. We raised more funding, 220,000, and we'll be raising another 1.5 million. So that's all to be coming right now. And that's at the high valuation of the 1.5 at the moment. And that, again, could very easily go up from this point as well. And a big part that many people were asking about, which is like, how can I buy shares? And some actually shared on the last of the investor calls, which is how can I sell shares? We now have got the structure that allows you to do that. We're going to kind of walk through what that looks like right now as well. So we have, as I mentioned, submitted our accounts. We just had our AGM. So anyone listening to this recording, you'll hear the very first part of the recording, we actually ran our AGM, but we just did it on the same recording. So if you fast forward through that, then you'll get to this part here. And this here is the information I just shared earlier in terms of how we're doing overall. Our balance sheet as of 31st of December showed a net asset balance of $15.4 million. The market cap at 1.545 is at 16.9 million. So it's actually pretty close, our actual market cap to our net asset value. And we've actually got here also the numbers that I just pretty much shared with you and what those numbers currently look like for 2017. And also we have now the numbers here for 2018. This year, by the way, which is basically the details here. So this is the one that says for 2018, we're currently sitting at 4.4 million group revenue, 4.1 million group profit. And you can see here the numbers, which actually are now on our website. So when you go to the website, which looks like this now, the Entrepreneur Resorts website, you will see we obviously have got different websites on Entrepreneur Resorts for each of the different companies, like Tao, and also for Vision Villas. And one thing we're super excited about is for the Beach Club, we had a target of getting up to the top 10. And it was, I think on the last quarter we were at what, maybe we were at 40th. So we're at 40th out of 414 restaurants on the last quarter. We're now at 7th, right? So it's actually gone up and up and up. This is on TripAdvisor. So we're super happy about the fact that this has actually gone up so much. And we're getting really, really awesome reviews on this as well. So congrats to the whole team for making that happen. And this here, which is on the main Entrepreneur Resort site, you can see here, if you come down, you can now see how our share price has been growing. You can see what the last transacted is at $1.45. It's now possible, just from this list here, to either buy or sell. Someone has actually put in here 1,000 shares to sell at $1. So that's 45%. That's basic. So obviously someone's like either testing the market or they just need the money quickly. So they've actually gone in to sell their 1,000 shares at $1. So if anyone on this call wants to go in there and buy those 1,000 shares at $1, you're buying them at a 45% discount from what the last transacted price was. And then we know that we're not actually going to be selling at anything less than a $1.45. And we've just basically got, you know, a goal of raising another $1.5 million at that $1.45 or higher. So you're going to get a 45% increase on your money straight away. So you can go in if you want to right now on this call and buy that. And if you don't, I'm going to go in and buy it. And this here also shows the current latest offer price, which I've mentioned is a lot at $1. So the total shares at this point is 11.6 million shares, market cap 16.9 million based on this price. And that's at this point a PE ratio of just seven times, which is pretty low for a company like ours that's growing the way we're growing at the moment. So I really think there's a lot of room for growth at the moment as well off the back of it. So that's a little bit of an update on where we're at the moment on Entrepreneur Resorts. And this here is a little bit on the new design of the Tao So we actually changed our architect. The first one wasn't working out. We got a new architect in. She's done an amazing, beautiful design. If you've been to Tao, then you'll see here that on this image here, what they're doing is they're actually stepping down from the actual viewing platform to the waterhole. They've now got a swimming pool at the front here. They've got a bar, which actually overhangs the actual spot where all the elephants and crocodiles come up. So it's going to be absolutely beautiful once it's actually done. We're very excited by it, and we've currently got it scheduled for the middle of next year. It's pretty much middle of May is when we're going to be building for Tao. And we actually put together also this year, which is a summary of our vision of where we want to be by the end of next year. So we want to hit our IPO targets, which we've set the $9 million revenue, $2 million profit target, which we've already exceeded, as I mentioned. Get to ensure that we're at 20% net profit for all of our different like models. Raise another $2.5 million, $1.5 million for Tao, another $1 million for the Beach Club. And then we've also got on here really making sure our global brand, our global community are really, really rock solid and growing. And we've got a new Beach Club and a full calendar of events, right? So we've got a picture of where we're aiming for. We just had our board meeting earlier today as well. And we just kind of shared all the things we're up to there. And we're really on track in terms of all these different areas at the moment as well. I'm going to come over to Sandra just to add some extras in terms of our impact investor comms and campaigns that we're running around Tao at the moment. So I can still keep showing my screen here, Sandra, but I'd love for you to just share some of the updates here.
Hey everyone, I had the pleasure of going out last week. Got a bit of an echo there.
Okay, I'll try mute myself. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I'll start again. Last week I had the pleasure of heading out to Tao. It was just amazing. It's a chilly time of the year, but it actually was even better, I guess, an experience because there was longer game drives and more sightings. And yeah, so whilst it was a bit brisk in the morning, it certainly was made up for it with the amount of cheetahs and cats and lions and baby lions and animals that we saw, and that animals came up to the right up to the actual resort as well, because, or the game lodge, because they were looking for their water, which their winter's very dry. So it was just, I guess, an opportunity for us to have our first iLab. That's why I went out. And whilst I was there, we had Simone and our chef Cynthia go out prior to do all the setup for the Genius Cafe. So for those that had the pleasure of being able to enjoy the beautiful menu from Chef Cynthia, she designed the Genius Cafe menu also now at Vision Villas, and we just launched that across to the Tao Game Lodge. For us, I guess it was a great experiment, moving it from 2 Bali locations to an international location and introducing some local produce. So the Genius Cafe differentiation is whole foods. It's all locally produced foods and also healthy foods. So all the jams and there's not processed foods are out, and it's everything's raw ingredients. So the opportunity to be able to come in and experience, I guess, healthy foods, going through a learning program such as iLab, and the first opportunity for us to be able to run that program out at Tao was awesome. We brought in our 18 global facilitator, Terry, that had run about, we've actually had 500 people go through the Bali iLab. So she actually was a key facilitator in most of those programs. And we also had Simone's other half, Shane, come out from Bali and set up and run all the audio visuals. So we had an amazing experience for the attendees, and yeah, we've got some amazing footage and marketing material off the back of it. And of course, the launch of the Genius Cafe gives us an opportunity to promote not just an experience of coming into Tao, but for people that are local to come in for a day trip, to have a meal, and also to be able to come and attend one of our events and know that they've got a similar experience. And that's part of the branding recognition we're doing globally. We actually took the iLab group down to the local school. We did something a bit different this time, and I put it out there to them, would they like to do a skill share, and what skills did they have that they'd like to share with the local, there's 400 students between the primary and high school. So they came up with all sorts of things from green waste, recycle management, and teaching the kids about that, right through to teaching the kids a Maori song in Maori. And also Shane brought out his drone and showed and the kids, of course, had never seen a drone before, and so he showed them an aerial display. And when we were there in February, we a group of us got together and funded, I think it was about 9 goats. The goats have been added to other 6. This group put some more goats, but they've had some babies. So that's a photo of the twins that were born just a day before arrived. And so there's 20 goats there now. So they're really happy with the number. It's really sustainable and it can continue on the herd. And the bottom right was a picture of the iLab group in the Tau conference facility. So it's so awesome. What our vision was to be able to introduce our events and our retreats into Tau, to be able to up the numbers in the room occupancy, and then to be able to bring the experience in of the consistency and the branding around the Genius Cafe, for example, and then have people come in and to be able to have that, I guess, duplicated experience, but also to be able to come in from other lodges, because there's quite a few lodges around that we are the commercial lodge, so they come to us and can have dinner or breakfast and experience the great food, as well as a day visit and attend the spa. We put together a spa menu so that people can come in and have a really healthy spa treatment and a champagne, which is probably not so healthy, but to go with maybe a little fruit platter to balance it off. So that was really cool. I guess the other thing we've been going through is setting up a GoFundMe campaign for the school, but more probably relating to the Impact Investors group here is around, you know, looking at how we can attract people in and be involved in the complete group, not just Tau. And as we're rolling through and we're moving into, I guess at the moment, the most awareness is coming to the Entrepreneur Resorts group through the events we're running and Roger presenting, and we're trying to and actively moving towards creating an awareness outside of that. So put a bit of energy into the Facebook and also the website, so that people can be proactively going to our entrepreneurresorts.com website. The link's on the last slide of this, and you'll get a copy of these slides. And people, as Roger shared, can see what the trading's actively happening now. This will be fairly live. It'll be within probably an hour of things changing. So you can even come on here and have a look yourself to make it really proactive. As soon as you click you want to buy or sell, you get connected through to Danny or one of our team. And we're actually taking ownership of this so that we're really controlling the customer experience and the ability for you to be able to, I guess, keep connecting with each other on the Facebook chat. There's been some really good proactive and good communication going on there too. And we're just sharing on the website's been updated for Tau Game Lodge, which is beautiful. These are the tents. Actually, we've had some really rave reviews on the tents. People have said, we call them tents, but they're like luxury marquees that replaced the building that was originally there. That was the reception that was burnt down in June last year. And a lot of guests are actually saying it's a really great experience coming in, because it does actually feel like they're on safari, even where they're staying, and they're enjoying their meals and so on. So we've been pretty good. This website's been updated. The Tau Game Lodge, the Entrepreneur Resort's been updated. And also we're promoting the investment opportunity, invest in a slice of paradise or a piece of paradise cafes on the TVs and so on as well. So we're getting out there as much as we can, getting some interaction and getting some, I guess, attraction for people to come back in to be an investor. And potentially, I know some people have listed some shares to get some momentum going on moving those shares as well. So people that do want to get a bit of cash back in, they can, and other people that want to buy at opportunities like Ola, they can do that as well. This is just a rollout of our events in Q3, July, August, and September. We are running events right throughout the year, but certainly our larger events are actually coming up. So at those events, we'll be looking at bringing in new investors as well. With our we're going to China next week, and then Japan the start of August, and then moving from there right through to Europe, and then UK, and out to the US to Lake Tahoe, which is really exciting. And it's our first time we've been back to the US since, I think, 24 running events. So it's great to be able to put up, I guess, footprint back into there. And we've got quite a bit of already great support in the area. And we've got an event already booked up with, I think there's at Lake Tahoe. And then from there, we're going through to all of our London's our biggest event of the year, to Bangkok, which is close to certainly our biggest partner event. And then from there, going through to all of our Bali events. So we've got lots of, I guess, connection with people that already are doing some cool stuff with us. Roger will touch on the Alchemy Fund, but certainly as we're going through, it's not just Entrepreneur Resorts, but Genius U, people are interested in getting involved with as well. And also the Alchemy Fund is going to be interesting. And we haven't launched it just yet. We've got it all ready to launch. The reason we just held back was we wanted to make sure that we kept the engagement going with the entrepreneur resorts and Genius U investments, and we didn't dilute any opportunities there. Yeah. The next 2 slides, I think, Roger, is on the just the images from the Entrepreneur Resorts website. So that's one you've already shown earlier, and this one is more of a how do we buy and how do we sell sort of questions I put on there too, so that it just gives people a little bit more guidance. But the key thing is we know that it has been clunky, and for us to be able to support you more, we've looked at how we can do that. And this is really about, if you click on buy, you click on sell, you get to put in some to do, and you get connected straight up to Danny, one of our team. Danny's our investment relationships manager, and he's able to hold your hand to be able to support you to everything you need to go through, or anyone coming in to be able to help them as well.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that, Sandra. And I was really jealous watching everybody out at Tao, because everyone had such an awesome time. That's fantastic. So I'm looking forward to going back out there again. And we also have an update as far as, so anyone who has any immediate questions just on what's been happening around that too. Let me actually just come back to my comment section on here. Okay, great. So Danny's posted the link in here, which is great. We've got here Grant here who said hi. We've got Jeremy who's saying hi as well. We've got Paul here, but only briefly, but great to have Paul here. Paul just ran his B1G1 conference, which was really awesome to see. And we were super lucky because we managed to get awarded the Connection Award, which is awarded to the organization that really connects B1G1 to many other programs out there as well. And that kind of brings me on to the next part of what we're going to be sharing, which is what's been happening on Genius U. So you'll see that actually if you come to, let's say, for example, I think on my page, we have got here just last week when I was with Paul, and you can see right now we're with a whole bunch of master trainers here in Bali, because we're now training up others to be able to do talks around the world, because we now have got 70 different cities that are running their programs around the world as well, which is really exciting. And so we're seeing more and more of this flow that's happening. And this was last Friday where we were awarded the Connection Award. And it's fantastic because there's actually 5 people on this page who were all together 11 years ago when B1G1 first got created. There's Paula Masami here, who created B1G1, who's now got over 150 million impacts. There's Glenn Carlson here, who was there at the very beginning as well, and Real Brogan, who's also there at the beginning. And so just the fact that we're seeing this massive growth, and we're now talking about 12 years until 2030, so we're kind of halfway there, is super exciting to just see what we're going to be able to achieve the next number of years coming up as well. So this is all as a result of all the work that you've all been doing to really support the growth of the impacts that we're making in the things that we're doing. And for us to now be growing the Impact Investor Circle is super exciting off the back of this too. If you go to the Genius U page now, you'll see that at the top of the page, we now have got the World Game, which is in play, which many of you are actually part of. So you see at the top here, it says 230,000 total impacts at the moment, 145,000 total dollars. And when you click on it, it takes you through to the rankings. We can see rankings by individual. There's a total of about 1,800 people now playing the game. And you can go to cities and you can see all the different cities that are actually taking part right now. Stockholm's in the lead, 99,000 impacts now. And then building Genius Dollars as well, which is our cryptocurrency that we're growing. So for those of you interested to see how we're using digital money, you're going to be able to see that and how we're growing Genius Dollars in the future. And people are going to be able to trade this from next year, where they can actually buy and sell using Genius Dollars as well as just normal currency. But here we can see all around the world: Stockholm, Melbourne, Durban, Auckland, London, Tunbridge Wells, Brisbane, Zurich, Lake Tahoe. And each of these as well, we're going to be building impact investor circles and ambassadors in each of these areas as we grow as well. So it gives us an opportunity to get connected up with other great business opportunities in all these places as an investor as well, which we're really excited about. So coming back to the slides, some of you were giving feedback on the last call about how the wealth migrate system was difficult to be able to actually buy and sell it, which is why we're doing this. So you can say, well, could I actually just come here onto the Entrepreneur Resource site and just use this instead of using the Wealth Migrate site? And the answer is yes, you can. You don't have to use the Wealth Migrate site at all. If you want to, you can. but you don't have to. At the end of the day, Wealth Migrate is not the actual exchange, right? The actual exchange is in Tropex, but they are a platform to be able to trade on the exchange. And similarly, we're going to be doing this to help you to do it directly, to either buy or sell as we go forward as well. And we want to just continue to build that liquidity as we go as well. So let's come on to, now that we're talking about the World Game, let's come on to GeniusU. So on the GeniusU side, we had our plan for growth, as you can see. This was where we were at the end of last year. We are now on track for this year, 1.5 million members, $15 million. We'll be somewhere between 1.2 and 1.5. We'll be somewhere between 12 and 15, right? That's how we're tracking at the moment. We've got an update here where you can see here the overview, where we basically were tracking along on the second quarter, where we actually are running at the moment profitably, marginally, which is pretty impressive for a tech company like ours. But that's before our development costs, right? And we're still spending about $80,000, $90,000 a month on development costs. So our goal is to actually be becoming fully cash positive, including development costs as well. But at this point, we've already gone well over $5 million in revenues for the year. We're aiming at 15 million, and we have got a plan of how we're going to be doing that. And we, as you can see here, we've got the same numbers that we were showing on the last call as well. The big focus is us having over half of all of our external partner revenue is coming not from Entrepreneurs Institute or any of the things that we're doing. They're coming from other partners. So this is how Amazon grew as well. At the very beginning, they got Toys R Us and these other companies to actually host all of their business or their online business via Amazon, and they actually brought these different partners on board, and I gave them shares in the company as well. So we're going to be doing the same thing with top partners who are going to be bringing $1 million, $2 million, $3 million of revenues onto GeniusU, where we're going to be able to provide them with options of shares in the company, and at the same time guarantee some $70 to $80 million of revenues, which will allow investors to see that we've actually got this solid revenue stream that's going to be coming through as well. The World Game will continue to grow. This is the first year out of 12, so we're very excited by that. And here's some numbers, but these were a little bit out of date now. We're actually showing just how we're running that World Game as well. So as time goes on, we want to be the place to come to if you want to know just how each of the 17 United Nations Global Goals are tracking, where we track all of them. And we actually have on here our strategy. We want to grow our new members, exactly how active those members are, which has become more and more active as we've gone as well. And then also our revenues to continue to grow from other streams, which are not just related revenue, our own businesses, but also the partner revenue that's coming in from our partners. And to give you an idea of what that looks like partner-wise, we have a goal in the second half where we are, on the one hand, working with Genius partners, as I just mentioned. And actually, I'm going to get Suraj on in a moment because we've now actually really built the services side. And there might be some of you on this call that might actually really like the idea of actually using the services of GeniusU as well. So I'm going to get him to explain in a moment what we're doing around that. And then at the same time, we're actually going to be linking up with a lot of the largest course providers and event providers that are out there. So the likes of Udemy. At the moment, when you come to GeniusU and you want to go and learn something, you can go explore. You can go have a look at microdegrees. At the moment, the only courses you can take are the ones that we've provided or the ones that our mentors have provided. What's going to be different on this is that and you can see on things like the 10 times your impact microdegree, which we've really grown. This is all part of the World Game that's in here as well. It's given us the opportunity, as you can see here, like 1,800 people on here already, giving us the opportunity to actually get people really involved in the World Game. But we are going to now actually show, as well as all of these different programs, which are really being well received, we're going to be showing Coursera programs, Udemy programs, digital marketing programs, LinkedIn learning programs, but also using Genie to say which is the best one for you. And at the same time, for you to be able to review them, get your badge at the end of them. Similarly with like Eventbrite and their events, or Amazon and their best-selling books, that people who are mentors can actually design their entire program around each of these different programs as well. Because we're seeing a lot of traction now on people coming on board and actually using GeniusU as well. So Suraj, I'm going to come over to you to just share a little bit about what's been happening on the services side and how you've been seeing the growth of GeniusU with the team there.
Yeah. Hi everyone. I think there's a little bit of echo. Yeah. So the last quarter itself has seen like phenomenal growth for Genius. I was just going through the numbers for the engagement, and in some cases, and we reviewed this in our team charter meeting, in some cases we've had engagement where people are spending more than like 15 minutes per page. So if we just take pages like stream, dashboard, and profile, the stream, just in the last month, the average session duration on the stream is about 13 minutes, 30 seconds. On the dashboard, it's about 19 minutes. And on the profile pages, it's 16 minutes. So that is huge for any tech company, for these pages to have that sort of time duration being spent on those. In addition to that, so while all of that is happening with the World Game side of things, when we're speaking with investors here in Singapore and also some of the tech companies, the thing that's coming out of the World Game is the number of transactions and the number of paying clients that GeniusU is now adding into its pool. So which is now setting us up like really well for one-click checkouts in future, right? So what we're transitioning into is like one-page checkouts for new transactions that would come through. But if you're already a client, it would go into like one-click purchases. So that just World Game by itself has allowed us to like set up so many new things independently outside of it as well. In addition to that, what's happened is that in the last quarter, GeniusU was invited to speak at Salesforce events here in Singapore, and also at the Entrepreneur Organization, which is Vern Harnish's organization in Brisbane, and they've invited us to speak in Sydney and Melbourne as well. So which is good to see, like the brand getting recognized by other organizations and they inviting us to speak at their events. So that's been a good thing that's come out. The thing which Roger was mentioning about services. So what our aim was in this quarter was to get some revenue in primarily for like the main GeniusU brand. And with the services, up until now, everything that the team has been working on was for Entrepreneurs Institute and Entrepreneur Resorts. But we do have the talent and the team in place to support our top partners and investors, as well as our top clients as well. So we've taken about top eight clients right now who we are supporting on growing their side of businesses as well. So just like Facebook would have their own premium services department, Salesforce has like services department, GeniusU is now growing its own business unit, which is like the services unit, which is supporting all our top clients. And we've already hit our quarterly goals from the services point of view, also because we have been pretty successful in getting renewals. So as of now, all the clients who had come on board in the first quarter, they've all renewed in for quarter two. So that growth has allowed us to scale that side of the business as well. And when I talk about services, services involves any business which needs support with digital marketing, say web development, graphic designing, all linked to it, the growth of GeniusU as well, then that's where services comes into picture. Yeah. So that's mainly it for me, Roger. Are you still on mute?
Yes, I am, but I'm back. We also have someone who's on a GeniusU link. That's you, is it? Oh, that is. Okay. Yeah. I'm getting background noise, but I'm good. It's good. All right. All right. Thank you, Suraj, for that. And let me come to this slide here, which gives a bit of an overview of our goals for GeniusU by the end of the year. So we're aiming to reach the $15 million in revenues. We just had a number of people invest in GeniusU at a $24 million valuation. So we're on track for over $30 million valuation by the end of this year, and on track for over $50 million by the end of next year, and $100 million the year after that. That's our goal, is that we get to $100 million valuation by 2020. And at the moment, we've got the growth rate that can allow that to happen. So we're really excited to see that continue to grow. And we're getting a lot of interest from now people coming on board and being partners on the platform as well. So we're going to see quite a lot of that this week even, because we've got all our master trainers. We've got an exponential entrepreneur event happening out here in Bali this weekend as well. So we've got lots of people coming out for that too. So Where we have had challenges has been very much in going out to the VC market, right? Because what those people, I mean, while they're really impressed by our numbers, they see too much interrelation between GeniusU and the fact that so much of the revenues are coming from Entrepreneur Institute related events or Entrepreneur Resource related events, which is why we've got such a big focus in the next 5-6 months ago. Great. Well, we know we can actually do it with our partners as well. We're going to bring all our partners on board now and not focus so much on actually interrelated companies. And that's our goal for 6 months, to really make that happen, which we know we can do. And then that's going to really change the number, which is why we want to get set up in such a way that we don't actually need the money right now. We're raising the money ourselves internally. But when we get to the end of the year, we'll give it another go, because we've already got people saying, come back to us when you've got over 50% of your revenues coming from other sources. We'll go back to them. But at that point, it's going to be more at like a $30, $40 million valuation. So at a much higher valuation to get them to come on board and to support us. And again, if they do or don't support us, we'll still be growing anyway, because we've got the base to do that. In conversation with our board of advisors, we had a board advisor meeting recently, just like we had a board meeting for Entrepreneur Resource. And they, I mean, from their point of view, they're like, well, why do you even need to raise money from VCs in the first place when you've already got this kind of flow that's taking place? So we'll see how that goes. We also have the opportunity to do something similar to an ICO, but not as expensive, where we can actually go out, and because we have the Genius Dollars, where those Genius Dollars can then be used for all sorts of products in the future, that people can fundamentally purchase Genius Dollars, and we could actually do a raise that way as well. So we'll be watching that as we go through the rest of the year. So if there's anyone here who has any immediate comments or questions, you can post them down actually on the chat, which we have. And let me just go back to it as well. I'm just going to do a quick check on everyone that's on here at the moment. So we can see we've got Marie on here as well, which is awesome. And anyone who's here on the recording, you can be posting down here afterwards as well. What I'm going to do now is actually share what I think is, in addition to what you just heard, which I feel is exciting as it is, because they're all the things that are allowing us to really grow the current investments. What I do want to do is also share something super duper exciting, which is really the beginning of what we're doing on the Alchemy Fund. So we have continued to attract higher level people into our crystal circles. Our Sapphire Circle, which is like our blue level circle, has like tripled in size. And we have some people that have joined us that have sold their businesses recently. We actually have a number of Crystal Circle members that have also done that. They've sold their businesses recently as well. And so they're now looking for new things to get involved in. And on the one hand, one thing which has not been as successful in the Alchemy Fund was the work that Bikram was doing, which was to really get connected up with the private office, home offices, family offices, who are the people who have money that want to come invest, who may not know us so well, and so on. I mean, that looks like it's a longer term thing, because we still haven't built the track record. But when we actually go out there to people that we're partnering with, and we actually look to support them, we're getting like huge traction off the back of that in terms of finding really good projects, just like the ones that we've been building, where we're in a position where we're ready to put our toe in the water and actually bring some additional investments on board. So as a recap, for those of you who were on the last call, when we went through the Alchemy Fund, we said the idea of this was for all our impact investors to have an opportunity to not just invest in the likes of Entrepreneur Resorts or GeniusU, but in other companies that were in our ecosystem, like other companies that were fast growing, that we saw had some really good potential in what they were doing, especially if they're like focused at the different United Nations global goals. So we can really be almost like the Y Combinator for the impact investing community globally. And that we would start by actually running some accelerators to grow. So we've actually, in the last 3 months, done exactly that. I'm going to show you an example of something that we did in partnership with WeWork. So this here is the blockchain accelerator. To give you an idea of how this worked, we went out, connected up with WeWork, which, as you know, is the largest co-working company in the world, said there in London that we would do a partnership with them to run an accelerator. We took a booth out at the Blockchain Expo. I became a blockchain expert, where I learned all about what was going on within the blockchain world. We then brought a number of different people together who are our mentors, who are in here as well. So, and we actually gave away a 6-month workspace at WeWork, 1 year's expert mentorship. We had the WeWork team that was there with us as well. We had Thomas Power as one of our mentors. We had Scott Picken as one of the mentors, myself. We had Katie Mills, who's head of operations at Cadre, which is a company that basically has become, $100 million business in blockchain, and a number of others that actually came in and supported us as well. And we had Danny, who organized the whole thing, along with Ellie and Lisa, who are two of our Crystal Circle members that also run the Futurist Collective. We managed to end up with about 16 people in the room, all with blockchain businesses. They went through a process over 3 days of something similar to what we do at Masters, but where we ended up with one winner. And that one winner then ended up with basically us supporting them, being on my mastermind, being on my Crystal Circle, and at the same time having the opportunity for us to invest in them as well. And we basically set a number, which was £100,000 to invest in the top company. So we now have got a top company, and we, at the moment, are going to be investing £100,000 in this company. Give you an idea of the company and what it does, because we're looking at the moment for like 5 of you that might want to put in £20,000 to join me and us in this investment, which I highly recommend if you're looking for a way to step into the blockchain space. The company that we actually had as the winner, I'm just going to show you this, right? It's actually a woman entrepreneur, which is actually really awesome, right? That this here is Suki, that is part of a company. You can see here, she's actually posted it here, winning £100,000 first prize in the blockchain accelerator pitch. You can see here, like Europe's largest conference for women in tech. She's like already in high demand around the world. She's part of the Women of Silicon Roundtable conference. She's one of the top 100 female rising stars across 20 industries. She's actually across all of this in terms of the awards that she's won and what she's growing. And the company that she set up to do all of this, which is what I'm going to be talking about in a moment here, is a company which is linked to the Trust Chain Initiative. So this is something that was set up by IBM in their blockchain system to be able to create supply chain trust on jewelry, which includes gold, includes diamonds, so you can actually know that they're coming from the right place and that it's responsible, that it's actually something that's being ethically made as well. And the way that she set up her company is that she actually started to do it offline before it was online. So it's a company called Market Orders. So this is what she presented, and she fine-tuned her whole pitch deck while she was with us as well. And the way that the company works is it basically is going out and bulk buying gold jewelry from the suppliers in the Middle East and in India and bringing it into UK, where she has contact with all of the jewelry, the small jewelry traders in the UK as well, right? So she actually started this already and built it into a £40 million business where she was shifting 5% of all the gold in the UK within 2 years, like pretty phenomenal. And then she's now basically said, okay, I'm now going to shift it all from that to make it all online. They can come online and basically, just like Alibaba, but this is like Alibaba for jewelry, you can actually order however much you want. You can get a much better price because of the way they're tracking it. They're forecasting already 11.8 million pounds in profit within 3 years of doing this. They've self-funded themselves. And at the moment, they're in the process of actually fundraise, but we're in there at exactly the right time. And the way we actually did this, which was really great, we've got everyone voting for all of them, just like we do at a Masters, but with like a much bigger prize that people are going to get. And so this year, she actually explains it. She breaks it down. For those of you interested, I'm happy to share this with you as well, so you can kind of see what she's up to and what she's doing, where basically she's like got here. I'm just going to skip through to the one which shows her journey. You can see here, she transacted 1 million grams of jewelry when it was called Mangarina. That was without having a website or anything, or just going door to door. And then it was basically 2 years ago where it's like, right, let's actually start Market Orders and bring it all through Market Orders. She's already got it going. She's already got like all of her customers coming back again and again because of it. She's got manufacturers in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Dubai. And at the moment, she's just focusing on the UK market. She's already got all these different awards from different people, but we're the first to actually say, okay, we're going to be providing you funding as well to get her started on this. And the most important thing is she really loves all of the things we do around wealth dynamics and getting the support from us to actually grow this as well. So I'm really excited by this because we're going to see this grow for sure into $100 million, if not $1 billion business, because she's coming in exactly the right time. What I mentioned about Trust Chain, you can go and have a look at it. Trust Chain, which is based on, this is from IBM, and you've got the likes of De Beers that's now on this. You've got all of the big gold companies in the world that are all coming in and being a part of this as well. So really exciting. And this only just launched three months ago. So it's only just started happening. And she's going to be one of the first startups with critical mass already coming in and actually being a part of this as well, which is like super exciting. So just to give you an idea, what we're going to be doing timeframe-wise is over the next month, we're going to just kind of confirm the investors who want to be a part of this and be part of the first investment within the Alchemy Fund to come on board. I say £20,000, but if you decide you wanted to put more in, or you decided you wanted to do it a different way, I'm happy to have a conversation with you as well. So we're going to basically open the conversation up for anyone who's interested in this to just get in contact with Danny and for us to then have a conversation, share more with you as well. And of course, if this is something that you're interested in and you're part of, you'll see the growth of this, because I will keep you updated on this as well, as an example of our first company within, which is not our own company, but that we're mentoring and growing. And we're going to see, this is such a great model, running an accelerator like this to find the very best and then just looking to invest in the very best. There was actually probably 2 or 3 other companies, definitely very investable in blockchain as well, but we're just going to focus at one to begin with, even though a number of the other ones, I've also joined Crystal Circle. They're also getting supported and mentored by me as well going forward. So you're going to be hearing more about the growth of blockchain through the companies that we're actually supporting through this as well. But in these guys in particular, you come on board and become a part of this, then obviously you'll be part of learning all about the insides of how blockchain businesses are really now starting to take off and the growth of them as well, which is really the intention of what the Impact Investor Circle was always going to be from the beginning, was a way for each of us to be learning about new industries as investors of the top companies that were in them as well. So big shift forward in the last 3 months, which I'm super excited by, that we're now actually really bringing the whole vision of the Alchemy Fund and making it happen. So with that being shared, I'm just going to give Danny a chance to say hi to you, because Danny's got he's about to jump on a plane with me, and we're going to be heading off after this weekend and after Exponential Entrepreneur to I Ching Adventure. But after that, we're going to be making connection with all of our different impact investors as well, with the different opportunities that are out there as well. So Danny, would love for you to share a little more about our plans to support all our impact investors. Do you want to come over here? Here, I will stop sharing my screen, and then you should be able to see. Oh, okay, here we are. Yeah, here we go.
Hi everyone. So I'm just sliding in here with Roger in the donkey room. So I think the most important part about this is that there's so many different things that we're doing, incredible things, and want to make sure that we can support all of the impact investors to know what is the best thing for them to get involved with. I know that there's so many people that are asking me directly, how do I get involved? How do I find out what's going on that I can, invest in, or just track everything? And so what we're going to be doing from August is connecting and have navigation calls with all the impact investors, looking at their investment portfolios, looking at where they actually are putting their money and the returns, etc. they're getting, and then focus on what we are offering and focus on how we can help them to develop that as we go forward. Focused on the Sapphire Circle as well, so looking at how we can develop the Sapphire Circle, which is the highest level Crystal Circle group at the moment, to get more involved and develop that more.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Danny. Are you excited about I Ching?
I am so excited.
Okay, all right, great. So I'm coming back to our comments just to see if anyone had any immediate comments from this update. We are really excited about the way things are growing. I mean, you should hear it from what we're sharing here, but at the same time, there's a lot of work to do. So I just wanted to give a shout out. So I can see we have a few more people that posted in here. We've got Manuela here as well from Brisbane, which is awesome. I just wanted to finish with just giving a shout out to everybody in the teams that has really worked really hard to make sure that we keep on going with this fast track that we have at the moment, and everyone who's part of the World Game, because that's just making such a huge difference, where it's connecting directly what we're doing to generate income with what we're doing to make an impact. And I'm super excited because I know some of you are tuning in from America, to be coming out to America for the first time in August. I'm super excited that we're actually going back to Japan for another fast track. So there's another one here in Asia, which is now starting to grow as well. And I'm also super excited that we have now, over the last 3 months, so many new city leaders that have actually stepped up now. So we have city leaders now in all areas of the world that we didn't have just 3 months ago. And that's allowing us to really grow the entrepreneur movement as well as we're going. So that's pretty much it in terms of the overall update for everybody. I can see there's no actual questions coming through at the moment. So I want to say thanks very much to everyone for being part of the Impact Investor Circle. We do have the next call that's going to be coming up. Plus, we also have the Impact, two events. We have one, which is the World Game event, which is going to be taking place just before our next Wealth Dynamics Masters. And then we actually have the Impact Investor Retreat itself, which is going to be at Tau later in the year. So Sandra, do you want to just finish off by just sharing a bit about, you know, what we've actually got planned coming up with the Impact Investor Retreat, if anyone wants to decide to come and book up to join us?
Yes, we're running it out at Tau. It's a bit of an echo there, Roger. Thank you. But we're going to be running it out at Tau Game Lodge again this year, which is very exciting. Beautiful time of the year to go out there, a little bit warmer, and well, going on all the animal sightings, we're going to have a lot more of them as well. But the big thing is it's 2 days of our investors getting together and talking about new opportunities, what's happening for them, and showing up, I guess, in their world and investment market. But also we talk about impact investing as well. What can we do? And a big part of this group has evolved from those meetings. Things that you want to hear more of, things that you want to know more about, and you get the chance to spend 2 days with Roger and go through and share your ideas and insights into, I guess, the market too. So we spend a bit of time during the day, obviously, going through more of a conference style, workshop style, but during the morning and evenings, certainly the game drives is a big part of it. We did a safari on foot last time, which was really exciting. I think we got chased by a few lions. Adds to a bit of an adrenaline rush, but apart from that, it's easy to get to, fly into Joburg, and we organise and support you to get you from Johannesburg either by car or small charter flight up to Tau. It's only a 45-minute flight, and Danny has put together a full package. So some of you will be certainly with the investor discounts. Some of you have got opportunities to have a few nights there as well. So contact Danny. He will be able to. Danny's going to put his email in the Skype chat, and he will put together exactly what your pricing is, exactly what's involved. You can bring your kids, you can bring your partners, and you can bring you know, your family extras if you want. We've got plenty of room. We can make it all work.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, Sandra. Every time we've done this, it's always sold out. So I would recommend, if anyone is interested in this, that you actually do get connected up early and let us know, right? That's for sure. And the final thing that I'm going to share is, as you can see, there's been lots of posts that have been on here at the moment. One of them, Danny has posted here, which is the GoFundMe campaign. So final thing I'd share is that for everyone who is on this call, would love it if you were to click on that link, which takes you here, where you can see we're just at the beginning of our goal for the Tau Foundation, where we are at the moment, right, and you can see all the info in here. We are at the moment basically really supporting them at the moment as well, right, to support in terms of getting 70 school desks, so the high school students all have desks that they can actually be using as well. So you can see others have already been joining in and adding to it. If you would like to come and jump in and be a part of this, that would be much appreciated by all the kids at Tau. And with that being said, I am now going to complete and end on this call, letting you know that the next call is going to be on the 16th of October. So put that in your diary, 4 p.m. So we're going to go back to afternoon time. Apologies to everyone in the UK or in Europe and South Africa who couldn't be on this call because it's the middle of the night for them. We made it earlier this time around just because we always do our board meeting calls earlier in our AGM. We've decided to do it with our directors as well, just because we have the directors in all parts of the world right now. But we'll be back to normal time, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so everyone can ideally join in. But of course, it means this time around the US people could come and join. So thanks very much for joining, guys. And that's a wrap. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll catch up with you all on the next call. See you all later. Bye.